You know, I've been hearing a lot of criticism for the new Star Wars movie, but you know what? There is already 3 terrible Star Wars movies that have been around for 40 years and no one has complained about them. I'm sorry, but I need to put my 2 cents in here right now and put my foot down and explain to you how the original trilogy was terrible and it ruined Star Wars. Now, you might be thinking, how could it have ruined Star Wars? It's what started Star Wars. Wrong. The prequels started Star Wars. Episodes 1, 2, and 3. And they are really the heart of Star Wars. Anything that deviates from there isn't real Star Wars. Sure, the original trilogy was made first, but guess what? George Lucas had a plan. He'd already planned Episode 1. He'd already planned Jar Jar to be the Supreme Sith Lord. It was all in his head. But you know what? I'm not going to be talking about the gaping plot holes of the original trilogy today. Instead, I'm going to be talking about why they fundamentally fail as movies. First, let's talk about Obi-Wan. He was one of the biggest characters in the prequel trilogy. Arguably, he was the main character of the prequel trilogy. But in the original trilogy, they totally ruined him. He just is this old, broken guy who just sacrifices himself to Vader for no reason at all, and then turns into somewhat blue ghost. That's not how the Force works. The Force can't do that. Like, there was no point in the original Star Wars, and I mean the prequels by that. There was no point where they explained how you could become a Force ghost. So there is no way he could do it. Where did he even learn that from? What's he been doing in this time? There's no explanation. So yeah, that really pisses me off that the last trilogy's main character is just an old guy who just dies. Now, there was a lot of talk from Alec Guinness, who played the old and crappy version of Obi-Wan, and there's actually interviews where he says that he doesn't believe in these character decisions, and that it's just fairy tale nonsense. And, you know, I guess it's a pretty big red flag when the main actor fundamentally disagrees with a character choice. Like, they should be making decisions, not the director. Oh, and don't get me started on the dialogue. The dialogue is so badly written in this movie.
I was going to Toshi Station to pick up some power converters! You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done. Now, come on, get to it.
Now, let's talk about the Emperor, okay? Let's forget the prequels are there for a minute, because I think that each trilogy should stand on its own. And the Emperor is a different character to Palpatine, let's be real. Palpatine was this evil, scheming lord in the old trilogy, in the good trilogy. But in this trilogy, he dies so easily. His apprentice just turns on him and throws him into a big old well. That makes no sense. He should have sensed that his apprentice was going to turn against him. He should have seen it happening, and he should have been able to do something to stop it. This is the most powerful character in this entire trilogy. Like, all he got in the trilogy was a quick hologram call, and then he just died. Like a bitch. It's terrible writing. I don't understand it. Now, there is one character that I'm sure all of you knew that this was about to come. But Luke Skywalker is the biggest Marty stew I have ever seen in a movie. Like, for some reason, without any Jedi training by the Jedi Council, at 19 years old, he can just do everything. Like, he spent a couple minutes with Obi-Wan, he swung a lightsaber and had one lesson, and then what? He can pull a lightsaber out of the snow and communicate with a Force ghost? That makes no sense. Why can Luke use the Force the way he can? He shouldn't be able to. He is a Marty stew. Wait, this article says Mary Sue. But isn't Mary Sue meant to be if you're wait a sec. Oh, this article's about The Last Jedi. Wait, so all these points were people's points about The Last Jedi? and the reasons people hate The Last Jedi, but when applied to the original trilogy, people don't seem to care because they love these movies and they can look past certain nitpicks because in the end nitpicks don't really matter. But in this situation, people are taking the exact nitpicks that could be applied to the original trilogy and saying their reasons to hate the
Ironic.
So obviously this wasn't that much of a serious video, it was more played off for jokes, even though there was sort of a underlying point about The Last Jedi criticism. But there are going to be a lot of comments of people who only read the title and not actually watched the end of the video, so in the comments you can go reply to them some funny things because they're going to have no clue.